morning, good morning, good morning. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is Success Mentorship class number 211. I want to welcome each and every one of you here on Facebook, on Instagram, and our live audience, our Success Mentorship members. The information covered today is, of course, based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, and it's available on our website, herbertharris.com, Amazon, and most of your digital websites. We also want to remind everybody about our new home study course, New You for the New Year home study course, and more information is available on our website, herbertharris.com. So now, let us prepare for the lesson today. Let us close our outer eyes, open our inner eyes, take a deep breath, hold it, let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. And in this state of relaxation, affirm, I am at peace with myself. Let us say that together. I am at peace with myself. Let that peace sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a breath. And out slowly. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our topic for today is really one that something we've been building on. Last week, we talked about using your higher powers. And this week, we're talking about how to looking at these higher powers and delving a little deeper into them. And our first higher power is the power of intuition. And so we're going to be looking at intuition today. What is it? How does it relate to faith? Levels of consciousness as it applies to intuition. Why should we trust it? And then how do we develop our intuition, this great power, this great ability that we have? So what is intuition? If we look at the dictionary, it says that intuition is our ability to understand something without the need for conscious reasoning. It's our ability to see something and to act on it where there's no proof, where there's no evidence. Intuition may be a feeling that guides us without fully understanding why. When we think about that, it's a very interesting concept. When we talk about intuition, how can you do that? Let me pen this here. Okay. How can you believe something for which you have no proof? Well, that's intuition. You just feel it. And so if intuition is a feeling, it's something that we accept without proof. There's a nice relationship between intuition and faith. Think about the definition of faith: the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. So intuition is understanding based on stuff that you do not see. It is a feeling that you have that has no, you might say, rational foundation, no empirical explanation. You can't prove it. You just know it's there. So when we think about the relationship between faith and intuition, faith, in a sense, is intuition in action. So let's look at the system. We have intuition. We have a feeling about something, you know. We have a feeling, for example, we have a feeling about our own personal greatness. It's like, I think I can do this. I have this feeling. It's like you're an eagle and you have this feeling that you want to fly. But you've been raised by turkeys. You're surrounded by turkeys. Everybody around you has wings and eagle caps and eagle glasses, but they know they cannot fly. They know that they're not eagles. Now, you may have been taught that you were a turkey, but something inside, your intuition keeps saying, I'm an eagle. I'm an eagle. And so the relationship between intuition and faith is when that person who is that eagle inside, and I know that many of you are eagles inside, when you come to that cliff of opportunity, something inside says jump. And that's faith. You see, faith is like applied intuition. So when you have that intuition that you're an eagle, there's a feeling inside. You feel different from everybody around you. And that cliff of opportunity comes. Faith says, close your eyes and jump. And once you go off that cliff, you know, that eagle starts to fly. Those first few seconds when you're falling, you may be like doubting, but you thought there's something that makes your wings start flapping. It seems like your wings already know, your arms already know how to fly, how to flap, how to move to make you fly. And so intuition and faith have a strong relationship. So faith, we'll just look at it as applied intuition. Now, to get a good concept of how intuition works, we have to really look at the levels of consciousness. And for those of you who have the 12 Universal Laws of Success, this is an important section for you to read, pages 19 through 21. And we call these the levels of consciousness. So we basically operate in 3 levels of consciousness. The conscious level, and this is really what we think. The conscious level is our rational mind, our logical mind. That mind that operates, you might say, in accords with regular principles. Your conscious mind operates through thinking. But with each thought, the first law of success says, a mind shall have whatsoever it thinks in its heart. So every thought in the conscious mind has a feeling nature, a feeling aspect in the subconscious mind. But we'll come to that in a moment. So in the conscious mind, every thought has a rational explanation or representation. The conscious mind makes decisions and choices inductively. In other words, it proceeds along to find conclusions based on observation, experience, and education. So your conscious mind may say to you, you have tried 50 times to fly, to be successful, to build a great relationships, and 50 times you have failed. And so your conscious mind will say, based on that scenario, because you've tried so many times and you've failed in the past, your conscious mind may say, it cannot be done. And so the conscious mind often is looked at as the world of effect, you know, like your circumstances. But then the subconscious mind is another aspect of mind. So even though your conscious mind may be saying it cannot be done, there's something inside. We'll call it intuition. There's a feeling inside that says, yes, it can be done. So your subconscious mind represents feeling, represents who you really are. And your subconscious mind is your emotional, it's your feeling mind. If we looked at it in masculine and feminine, the conscious mind is like masculine in nature, the desire to dominate, to rule, to be in charge. The subconscious mind is like feminine in nature, the desire to accommodate, to nurture, to grow. The subconscious mind operates impersonally, non-selectively, non-judgmentally. The subconscious mind receives all ideas as truth and gives them form and expression through feeling, through energy. So let's look at this. Let's go into this a little bit. Your subconscious mind is that feeling nature. Your subconscious mind is a lot like fertile earth. When you have a garden, the earth is fertile. Your subconscious mind is like the earth, and whatever you plant in that garden. So your thoughts are like seeds, and when you plant them in your subconscious mind, they're going to grow. And whether that thought is a thought of positivity, of uplifting, you may be planting either an orange tree that will create beautiful oranges, or you could be planting a hemlock plant that will kill you, poisonous. In other words, the subconscious mind does not judge the validity of the thought. It just accepts whatever thought you put there and it objectifies it. It creates the feeling and the vibration to manifest it. So your subconscious mind accepts every idea is true. So in your subconscious mind, you may be raised by raised by chickens, but in your subconscious mind, there's that feeling, and that's that intuitive feeling that you're an eagle. And it keeps telling you to go for it. It keeps telling you to push it. But the fact that you're surrounded by turkeys, they're telling you can't fly. And so the subconscious mind responds to persuasion, responds to suggestion. So the moment you tell yourself, I can fly, I love that song, I believe I can fly. The moment you tell yourself, I can fly, and you confirm that thought by going off the cliff of opportunity, your ego nature comes out. So the subconscious mind manifests whatever thought you put there. It makes no judgment as to whether it's true, false, good, or bad. The subconscious mind really represents the world of cause. Then we have the superconscious mind. The superconscious mind is the source of all creativity and all faith. Some call it the God mind, the universal mind. It is the ultimate representation of the essence of being, the subconscious level. And so the superconscious mind has all of the information, has all and everything already there. And so the superconscious mind controls it all. If we thought about like a plant, for example, the conscious mind could be like the seed, the subconscious mind, the earth, and the superconscious mind is like the sun. Okay, so all that the plant and the earth operates in accordance with the sun. When there's no sun, the plants don't live, they die. So the idea is the superconscious mind is independent of time. It's independent of judgment. It has all is the same. There's only the present. And that's why we say the only time that you actually have is the present. The superconscious mind, the past, the present, and the future are all one thing. So procedurally, you have a thought in your conscious mind. You interpret that thought through your subconscious mind, your feeling nature. And your superconscious mind is the process by which it is created. The superconscious mind makes the plant grow. The superconscious mind understands all that is necessary for the plant to grow. So it is in this context now. So where does the intuition fit in? So intuition is that connection between the three levels of mind. So your conscious mind is telling you to do A, B, C, and D. Your subconscious mind gives you a certain feeling about it. So your conscious mind may say, oh, this is a great person. They look handsome. They look beautiful. This is somebody I want to know. I want to get into a relationship with. Your subconscious mind says, it feels a vibration. And the vibration that your subconscious mind is getting from that person might be a negative one, but your conscious mind is saying, I don't care. I want to meet them. I want to be with them. And your superconscious mind says, aha, the superconscious mind is always there to protect and uplift you. And so it gives you what we call an intuitive thought, an intuitive communication, like run, But guess what? You don't run. So looking at it, if we think about it as, you might say operating systems, look at a computer. So your conscious mind is like the analytical, rational part of your operating system based on education and information. Your subconscious mind is that emotional, that instinctual operating system where you just know how to do it. You know, the squirrel knows to collect nuts for a winter it's never experienced. And your superconscious mind is like the power source that makes it all happen. So there's a thought that intuition is the process that gives us the ability to know something without analytical reasoning. And that is exactly why we distrust it. And so the question arises, if that is the case, then why do we distrust this? It seems very straightforward. Why do we distrust it? Well, we distrust it because there's a conflict. Your conscious mind is often motivated by your ego. So your conscious mind is telling you to do something, and your subconscious mind is saying that's not the right thing to do. And your superconscious mind is sending that communication to you through your intuition, but you may ignore it. And that's the challenge. Our intuitive powers are always operating, but we have a tendency to ignore them. So the question is, why should you trust it? Well, number one, if you check back, your intuition has the ability to know stuff that you don't, and you don't know why you know it. Number two, your intuition leads to better outcomes. If you look back over your life and look at those times when you've hit a rock, and if you analyze it and you think about it, you're like, you know what? If I'd followed my mind, I wouldn't have done this. If I'd followed my mind, I'd have never gotten in this business. I'd have never sold my stock. I'd have never gotten in this relationship. We often say hindsight is 20/20. Because when you look back, you can now see the fruits of the seeds that you have planted and the intuitional information that you ignored. One of the things you find, your intuition is always directed toward the good, towards your protection, towards your elevation. And one of your mantras, we'll talk about that, is to understand the role of your intuition. So if we look, say, why should we listen to that intuition? Because over time, if you're able to examine it, you'll find that it rarely leads you astray. That it's really about alignment. Your intuition is the God mind speaking to you. And when you can align your conscious, subconscious, and your superconscious mind, then you accept the information from your intuition and you act accordingly. So now let's go into the phase of, if that's the case, then how do we develop our intuition? How do we expand this ability to communicate with the God mind? Put it in layman's terms, how do we stop making dumb mistakes? How do we stop making repetitive bad relationships? How do we stop putting ourselves in a situation where we do not fulfill our purpose? There are 9 steps to help you develop your intuition. Step 1 is to recognize that your intuition speaks to you in different ways. Each person is different. So your intuition may speak to you through words. You know, you say that silent voice in the back of your head, you hear it and it says run, and you ignore it. Your intuition may speak to you through images. Many of you have seen you walk and all of a sudden you just a little flash pops up in front of your eyes saying stop or go. Your intuition manifests through your emotions. You know, you think back, if you really analyze just about every bad thing that's ever happened, there was a signal. You had warning. There were clues that you ignored. Intuition even manifests as physical sensations. You've heard the expression, man, it made the hairs raise up on my arm. I got a certain feeling inside. I can feel it in my back, in my neck. All of a sudden, my muscles tightened up. And so this idea of recognizing that your intuitive powers are always operating, whether it's through words, whether it's through images, whether it's through feelings, whether it's through physical sensation, recognize that it's always operating. Number two, once you accept the fact that it's operating, then you must be intentional and attentional to really develop your intuitive powers. And when I say intentional, you must set an intention to pay attention to the intuitive words that are being spoken to you. If you don't pay attention, you won't give it your attention, and so it won't give you the guidance that's possible. So when we say, make it your intention to now start to say, I want to communicate with my intuitive powers. And you ask yourself questions. Example, when you're in a relationship, when you meet somebody, you ask yourself that intention, what are my true feelings here? What does my intuition tell me about this person? We see the signs, we see the clues, but if you don't ask the question, in other words, if it is not your intention to tune into your intuitive powers, you may miss it. So you ask yourself these questions. What's the truth of this situation? How can I listen better? What can I learn from this? And this opens the door for the intuitive knowledge to come into your space. You also must pay attention. You see, you can sharpen your awareness by paying attention. And I'll give you an example. Those of you right now who are watching, if I say to you, look around the room and pick out something green. I guarantee you look around you and you'll see something green. You're like, oh, okay, green curtain. Oh, there's some green in the painting up there. If you look hard, you'll find something green. So the question was, did it exist before you looked for it? Of course it did. But did its presence impact you until you paid attention to it? No, it did not. Now, that can be a good or a bad thing. Think about this now. While you're looking for the green, in that same room where you may be located, may be one of those, what is it, the asp, one of those deadly snakes that you don't even notice because you're looking for the green. Your intuition now may say, ding, 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 look around, but you're so busy looking for the green that you ignore it. It can be deadly, bad consequences. So this idea of intention and attention, develop your ability to be more attentive to your surroundings, to be more aware of your surroundings. You know, the scripture says, seek first the consciousness of all these things and they will be added unto you. And so it's all about what you become aware of. So in relationships, if you become aware of the goodness and the possibilities for the relationship, you begin to see that it impacts you. There's a great affirmation that we can use, and it says, my intuition is here to guide me and protect me throughout my life. That's an affirmation to write down. That's a reprogramming affirmation. My intuition is here to guide me and protect me throughout my life. This lays the foundation for the intention of communicating with your relationship and the foundation for your attention. Now you pay attention to everything with a different mindset, that whatever you see, your intuition is telling you is to protect you and guide you throughout your life. The next key, the third key, This is a biggie, folks. Stop listening to outside voices, outside stimuli. If we are eagles surrounded by turkeys, stop listening to the turkeys cackle. You know, when you start tuning into your intuitive powers, something happens. People can only judge you and evaluate you and relate to you based on their level of consciousness. So if you're talking about flying and the person that you're communicating with has only a consciousness of walking, then you're never going to have a sincere communication. The walkers are going to tell you can't fly. The flyers are going to tell you, hey, let's go higher. Also, there's the external sounds. You know, when I lived in New York, we had a camp, and we would take 40 kids from the inner city to this camp for 2 weeks. And when we got to the camp, the biggest problem we had with the kids was at night. They couldn't sleep. They were afraid. What is going on? They were so conditioned to hearing the noises of the street, the ambulances, the police cars, the people, whatever goes on in the streets of New York. They were so conditioned to that. That was their ground zero, that now when they were in a quiet location where at night you didn't hear anything but maybe the wind or a bird here and there, they became fearful. In other words, it was the unknown for them. It was not, you might say, I'm scared of the dark. Maybe it was that too, but it's like the fear of the unknown. It was something they were not aware of. And so in our lives, we have to, in order to properly relate to our intuition, we must begin to close out the noise of other people, but even the noise of the world. Imagine yourself watching the football game. It's a 40 seconds left, and your team is on the 2-yard line, and they have one down. There's 4th and 2, 4th and goal, and the telephone rings. So you're so busy listening to the game, you hear the phone, you pick it up, and you say, let me call you right back. But guess what? That call was from the radio station where it said the 9th caller was going to get a free trip to the Bahamas plus $10,000 spending money. And guess what? You did not take the call. Why? Because the external noise, the external vibrations were interfering with what you were supposed to be doing. So stop listening to outside voices and quiet that outside stimuli, the outside noise, which leads us to the 4th key: learn to meditate. See, all the external stuff is a distraction from your powers of intuition. And so when we learn to meditate, we've talked about their books, and there's a section in the 12 Universal Laws of Success on meditation. There are books you can learn. It's very simple. If you just learn how to breathe, that you just commit that 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, you're just going to sit quietly and breathe and listen to yourself breathe. That's a meditation. But learn to meditate. As you begin to learn to meditate, meditation helps you expand the access between your conscious, your subconscious, and your superconscious mind. So it is through meditation that you can enhance your powers of intuition. And see, when your powers of intuition are operating at their finest level, you don't make mistakes like you normally would or could. When it's operating, you go literally for the goal. Each time you become very clear about what you're supposed to do. The decision-making process is much simpler because you have meditated, because you have centered, and because you have connected between your conscious, subconscious, and superconscious mind. Literally, you have aligned yourself with the vibrations of your purpose. Have you ever wondered how birds, and birds are not nearly as smart as people, some would say, how birds can fly, whether the birds of Capistrano, these birds can fly 5,000 miles up into Canada and then fly 5,000 miles back down to Capistrano and end up in the same place they started months before, without a GPS, without road maps, and without stopping to ask anybody. How can they do that? Because they are aligned with their creation. And that's why man is so unique, because we have the capacity to think and to create that godlike capacity. That's why man is a unique being. Because we have that capacity, our ego and all these other vibrations in us take us away from listening to that vibration inside, that vibration of alignment that will give us the ability to be just as deliberate as the birds who can fly 5,000 miles without a roadmap. We can be just as deliberate and effective in getting to our goals and purpose. And so meditation helps us open that door to create that vibration of alignment. Number 5, consider your past. You know, the fact that you're still alive means that you have a victory right there. The fact that you're listening to this broadcast this morning means you've already won. There are a whole lot of people who were here yesterday who are not here today. Okay. So the fact that you're here and alive and breathing and conscious, you've already won the battle. Consider your past. Many times when we are going through the experience of life, we get so involved with the appearances, with the noise, with the reality, so-called reality, with our circumstances and situation, that we forget who we really are. When we consider our past, we look back at what we've done in the past. We've accomplished some great things. Everybody who's listening, when you finish today, make a list of all the great things you've accomplished. Acknowledge that maybe you've been focusing so hard on your failures that you forgot your accomplishments. You forgot the time when the obstacle was there and somehow you pulled it off. Your ego may have said to you, aha, that's because you're smarter than everybody else. But the truth is you are aligned with your purpose. So consider your past. You know, one of the interesting things, I love the story of David and Goliath because there's so many spiritual lessons there. When Goliath approached the people, the Hebrew people, you know, and they sent out their champion, the Philistines, they said, let our champion face your champion. Nobody wanted to go forth. And finally, David stepped up and he said, I'll take him on. And King Saul says, wait a minute, hold it. You're just a kid, you're not a soldier. And David went back to the past. He said, I am the David who, when the lion or the bear attacked my sheep, I killed the lion. I killed the bear. And so in your life, many times go back to those times where you have been victorious and look at how that victory is really based on alignment with your intuitive powers. The stronger you build that connection, the more powerful you become to move on and do greater things. As they say, hindsight, you make hindsight into foresight. And that's what David did. You know, when the king said, okay, you're going to go fight the Goliath, he said, let me give you my armor. Put on my armor, the king's armor, to go out and face him. And at first David put it on, but then he said, you know what? It doesn't feel right. There's a lesson there. When other people tell you how you should go and fight your Goliaths, you can't rely on that. And what he said the king's armor was uncomfortable. He took it off. He said, let me do what I know. Let me look around and find these 5 smooth stones, because this is my understanding. This is my connection to the infinite power. And now let me know that I know how to kill this giant. And see, that's how your intuition can guide you. Number 6, ask the right questions. You see, the subconscious mind and the superconscious mind especially responds to demand. You know, the scriptural principle says, seek and you shall find, knocking it shall be opened, asking it shall be answered. What is that principle? That principle says that whatever you demand of the superconscious mind, it must give it. And so when you ask the right questions, you say, what is the truth of this situation? What is the lesson I must learn from this situation? What is the truth of this person? When you ask those right questions, it gives your intuition the ability to lock in. As they say, lock in and lock up to bring you the truth. As you ask the questions, as you become clearer and clearer about your intuitive powers, keep a journal. Write them down. You see, once again, the Habakkuk says, write the vision, make it plain upon tablets that he may run that readeth it. And what it's saying is the moment you write it down, you have literally created the vibration now that the plan to make it happen. Habakkuk also says that write the vision, make it plain. The vision is yet for an appointed time, but it will surely come to pass. The fact that you wrote it down means that now you've created the vibration of manifestation, and it will come to pass. This journal now should be kept on a daily basis. This is the record of your success. This is the record of your growth. Number 8, after all is said and done, more is said than done. Number 8, you got to follow through. You got to take action. You see, if your intuition comes through to you and you are not able to perceive and conceive of your intuition and the knowledge that it's bringing to you, if you don't do anything, when you act on your intuition, it's confirmation of its veracity, its truth. And when you act on your intuition and you get the right results, it builds your strength and builds your faith, and you become more and more aligned with your powers to get results much more efficiently, effectively, and quicker. When your intuition speaks, be committed to take action. And finally, number 9, to keep going and growing. This intuition process, this process of developing your power of intuition is an evolutionary process. The more you trust your intuition, the more intuition you have. The more actions you take based on the intuitive knowledge that comes to you, the more positive results you get. The more positive results you get, the higher your level of vibration. The higher your level of vibration, you attract more intuitive knowledge. So it becomes a never-ending circle of growth and enjoyment. So let's just take a deep breath for a moment. I know we've covered a lot today, but I wanted to spend some time on intuition because this is your internal guidance system. You heard of the GPS, the global guidance system, where your intuition is your IPS, your internal, IGS, your internal guidance system. When you perfect your ability to use, to communicate with, and use and let your intuition guide you, you will not go astray. So let's just recap. Number 1, recognize how intuition communicates with you. Number 2, be intentional. Make it your intention to develop your intuition, and be attentional. Pay attention to the surroundings, the manifestations already done. Number 3, stop listening to outside forces, outside people, outside voices, outside stimulation. Number 4, that was number 3. Number 4, learn to meditate. Operate from a meditative space on a daily basis. Doesn't have to be big, 10 minutes a day. Number 5, learn from the past. Learn from the past as an instruction of the greatness that you've already done. When you look at the green, you see green. When you look for your victories, you see victories. Number 6, ask the right questions. The spiritual principle says that you will not receive the answer until you ask for it. So ask the right questions. And when you ask the right questions, you condition your superconscious mind to give you that right answers. Number 7, keep that journal. Write the vision, because this becomes the documentation of your life. Then number 8, always follow through. Whenever your intuition speaks to you, act on it. And number 9, it's an evolutionary process to keep going and growing. When you can do these things, your intuition can help you be what you want to be, can help you do what you want to do, can help you have whatever you want to have, always knowing that the best is yet to come. So it is. Thank you so much for being with us today. Don't forget, visit our website, herbertharris.com. Get your copy of the 12 Universal Laws of Success as your success book to create the life of your dreams. And get our New You for the New Year home study course, so you than have a track to run on and know exactly how to run. Thanks again, Dr. Herbert Harris saying, see you next week, same time, same station, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is.